Hey guys. Okay, I am so sorry. Whew. All right, that was a smelly diaper. It still smells in here. Don't have any babies for a long time, okay? Be careful. All right, so before we get started talking about Whitman, do you guys have any questions or concerns for me? Anything you guys need help with or you're worried about? Okay, so we're good? Um, all right, so just to let you know then, um, I don't know what Anonymous Chipmunk is doing down there. Uh, just to let you guys know, I know that we still need to have most of the landlady essays graded for y'all. So, what I was going to do, I'm going to have all of those graded by tonight. So, um, tomorrow or even by this evening, you should be able to look and see. And if you had already done the first essay and the landlady essay and you have grades on them that you're happy with, you do not even have to do this third one. You don't have to. Now, if you had missed one of the first two essays, or if you get a grade that you're not happy with on those one of those two in-class essays and you want to write the third one so that you can take it as a higher grade, then go ahead and do it. Are we all on board with that? And that's okay. Sounds good. How many of you guys got to do the first two essays and you probably won't have to do the essay tomorrow? Most of you guys? You couldn't do the second. Okay. Yeah, okay. Howie thinks he's at Hunter's done one. Oh, okay. So I would just go ahead and plan to do the second one then. And also if for some reason I think Mark emailed me yesterday and said that he hadn't got to do either of the first two yet. In that case, you would just need to make up one on Friday or Monday. So hopefully, I mean, in a perfect world, you've already done the first two and you're happy with the grades and you're done. You don't have to do any more, and that's great. If you have to do the one tomorrow and that takes care of your second one, that's good. If you still need to do two more, you can make up on Friday. Um, the revised research papers, Dr. Ferguson is grading those, and she's graded a couple of them today already. She's going to do the revised research papers. I'm grading all the in-class essays. So that is the plan. I assume that she's going to have them done by this evening. And if for some reason still, don't quote me on this, although I'm pretty sure I'm right. If for some reason still your research paper grade is pretty bad after she grades the second attempt, I think it's okay to do that one more time. And I will grade the third attempt on Friday or Monday. Sound good? Hopefully. You're welcome. Good. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, no problem. The other thing that I want you guys to know about, so I know that the internet for y'all has been dodgy this week. Plus, there's testing going on, so I know things are crazy when there's testing going on. Earlier in the week on Monday, I gave you that poem by Herrick called "To the Virgins to Make Much of Time," and I gave you some analysis questions on that. The way that I'm going to approach those analysis questions, if you turn them in, so if you do them and then you share that document with me, that's good for 5 points of extra credit on any of your major essays. I wanted to make that an extra credit grade, and I wanted to make it an extra credit grade that would be worth your time to do it. But also, like when I look at the grade breakdown, I can see like most people, like they either have like a really solid A or B and they have a high grade, or they have a low grade. So for those of you who already have an A, like, don't worry about it. You don't have to do those poem questions or anything. But for those of you who have lower grades, or especially like maybe you're on the borderline between grades, so even if you have a B but you'd like to get an A and you think like 5 points on one of your big papers would help push you there, you can do that for extra credit. But if you don't do it, it's not going to hurt your grade. And as far as when I would need that by, if you could get those to me by Friday at the end of class. So especially for you guys that maybe you don't have any makeup work that you need to be working on Friday or Monday, if you want to do those Herrick poem questions for extra credit, you can do that in class on Friday, and then I'll have that in the grade book on Monday or Tuesday when we're working on that. So everybody's good on the extra credit piece. Yeah? Yeah, no, maybe? I'm going to assume yeah. We'll go with yeah. Okay, Hunter says yes. Thank you, thank you. All right. Now, there were questions that went along with Oh Me, Oh Life. And actually, I'm going to try to save this video for the morning class. I didn't have a lot of time with them because my son's therapists were here this morning. It's a crazy day. But with you guys, I will go over the answers to those questions with you right now. And then I am going to take these Oh Me, Oh Life poem analysis questions for a grade, just a classwork grade, so it's not that serious, but some people need more classwork grades because they have zeros. So if you would like to, I can give you a couple minutes right now, especially if I'm up on the board. If you would like to pull up the questions for Oh Me, Oh Life, and I think actually I can paste that link right in here. If you would like to pull up those questions and make your own document and type in the answers as we're going, I'm totally cool with that. And you can go ahead and get that bit of work done. Now remember, you're going to have to click File and make a copy and make your own copy so that we're not all trying to like type into the same doc. But yeah, let's do this together, and it's an easy classwork grade for you. And then I'm just going to save this video and put it on here for morning class people. So Miss Meadows, if you can help me remember, we'll just tell the morning class people if they need help getting these questions done before they're due, they can watch this video and listen to me go through them with this group. And you guys let me know when you are ready to roll. And we will start on those questions. I know it's going to be kind of hard to talk to me and type your answers in at the same time. I would just try to, like, I've got 2 windows open on my computer right now, so I'm trying to watch the questions and watch y'all. All right. Abigail's ready. All right. Let me see. Pulling up my stuff too. All right, Hunter says he's ready. All right, almost everybody's ready. How about this? Is anybody not ready yet? Anybody not ready and you need me to wait for you? Okay, I'm taking that as we are ready. Okay, Noah's not ready. All right, I'll wait for you, baby. You let me know when you're ready. Jonathan's ready. All right, Noah's ready. Okay, cool. So, all right, Pop, you guys can be in your documents ready to answer. And I'm going to kind of, because I want to go through these quickly, I'm going to kind of give you the answers, which I hate, but I'm sorry. We'll just do it like that, okay? All right, so number 1, read the poem closely and summarize the first 7 lines into just one sentence using your own words, then summarize the meaning of the last 2 lines, again, just using one sentence in your own words. This question and the second question are important because they have a lot to do with the in-class essay that I'm going to ask you to write on this poem. So looking up to, do you want me to copy and paste the poem into our doc? Maybe that will help. I'm sorry, I know that you're trying to do a bunch of stuff at once. Okay, so in the top of our doc, you've got the poem now, so you can kind of look back and forth between your worksheet answers and the poem, and hopefully that will help. All right, so our first 7 lines come before answer, and there's usually a bigger space in between those, so I'm going to space that down. All right, and I'm trying to see all y'all in case you tell me something at the bottom too. Okay, so, O me, O life, of questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, of myself forever reproaching myself, for who more foolish than I, and who more faithless, of eyes that vainly crave the light of the object's mean, of the struggle ever renewed, of the poor results of all, of the plotting and sordid crowds I see around me, of the empty and useless years of the rest, with the rest me intertwined. The question, O me, so sad recurring, what good amid these, O me, O life? And so we'll talk about that first part first. If we think about tone and attitude up here, he's pretty disappointed, depressed. He is sad about Gracie just emailed me. He is sad about what he's seeing when he looks around at people. And so if I had to answer this question and kind of put it into my own words, I think I would just say, like, I look around me and everything sucks. What is the meaning of life? When I look around me, people are bad and they just go through the motions, and I wonder, what does this mean and why should we even bother living? So that's the way I would translate those first 2. And I know that you're trying to type this quickly. And then let's look at the answer in the last part of the poem and kind of talk about what that part means. Answer, that you are here, that life exists, an identity, that the powerful play goes on and you will contribute a verse. And essentially what he's saying is, you know what, we are here and we're breathing and we are our own person. And I have the chance to do something that's going to change the story of humanity. So those last 2 lines, basically what he's saying, especially that last line, the powerful play goes on and you will contribute a verse, which I'm probably getting ahead of myself and answering later questions. But what he's saying is the powerful play going on is a metaphor for human history as it is. So, like, think of history in a timeline as a big play, right? So like the first act of the play, if you're going with like the fairly popular Christian version of the first act of the play, like the first act of the play is Adam and Eve, and then all the way up to like now we're in our part of the play and we're all on stage making this powerful play of human history, and you will contribute a verse, meaning that in this big play of human history you get to walk to the middle of the stage and you get to contribute a verse, you get to say your part. So basically, like, you matter. Even if things around you are going really badly, you still matter. And you can change history. All right, y'all let me know, because that was a lot to condense down into your answers, and you're probably like, okay, Erica, like, it says to write a sentence, and you just gave me like 10 pages worth of crap to write. You know, it doesn't have to be a perfect sentence to describe both parts, but if you kind of like took a couple notes or something and you roughly tell me what the first part versus the second part means, I am cool with that. I am actually going to share this with Gracie real fast. To see if she can get in. Okay. All right, guys. So y'all let me know. I just sent that to Gracie. All right, y'all let me know when we're ready for the next question. Let me know when you're ready for question 2. See if Gracie gets to pop in or not. Okay, Noah's ready. All right, I see a couple of you guys saying you're ready. Okay, perfect. And for those of you who are not ready, let's just say that we're going to help each other answer them if you get behind. Okay, so if you get a little behind, that's okay. Hook up with one of your classmates who's a quicker typer and share what you got going on. All right. The second question, this poem is built in 3 verse, meaning it doesn't rhyme and it reads more like prose than poetry. Notice, though, the unique structure and Whitman's dramatic use of white space between the 2 sections. What is his reason for physically structuring the poem in this way? And like I said, these first 2 really get at what our essay tomorrow is going to be about, because your essay tomorrow has to do with, and I'm going to try to type that, I'm going to go ahead and try to type that prompt out for tomorrow for you. The prompt is going to look like, in Whitman's Oh Me, Oh Life, the tone dramatically shifts from the first stanza to the last couplet. Analyze and describe the shift in tone. Okay. So do you see how, even just based on answering that first question, we can give a broad overview of how that tone changes? Yeah, and you can go ahead and copy that. That's cool. We can give a broad overview of how that tone changes, right? And remember, when you're describing tone, you want to use attitude words. So feeling, emotional words. In the beginning, he is depressed, he is downtrodden, he is in his feelings, but don't say in his feelings in your essay, because that's not super academic. But you get what I'm saying, right? He is super down. When he thinks about people and life in general. But then the tone completely shifts with that white space. And that would be my answer to question 2. The white space allows the reader to kind of stop, because when you see that blank space in between 2, you take a pause and then you read that ending message, that answer, and it gives it a lot more drama than if it would have been stuck up there close to the rest of the poem. Because he wants this answer to be powerful and say that, this is it. Like, the answer to our existence is pretty simple. Like, life goes on and we have a chance to do something good with it. You have a chance to do things and change things, which is why, even though like a lot of people don't like Whitman very much, I like this poem to be the last poem that you guys read before you graduate, because I think it's really empowering to read his message that you have a chance to change things and change things for the better. So I think his tone shifts from being really downtrodden, negative, depressed, to, at the end, hopeful, empowering, and positive. And yes, so I told you, I know a lot of people don't like Walt Whitman. This little human, hi, he's named Walt, so you can guess how I feel about Walt Whitman. His dad named him for Walt Disney, though, so don't tell. But I named him for Walt Whitman, and he's probably not going to care either way. All right, so does that kind of help? At least, how many of you guys feel like you understand the prompt and you get like the basics of what I'm going to talk about as far as what his attitude is? I will help you understand how to quote to make that easier. But do you at least see his attitude in the first and second sections and how that's different? Because if you got the basis, we can work from there. some of you guys might be curious or furiously typing answers. Okay, Chandler says yes. Hunter says yes. Abby says yes. Okay, good. All right. Now, these next questions will kind of help y'all. Okay, Jonathan says yes, Caitlin. Okay, good. So we're rolling along. And this is also why I'm getting a little bit more time to go over this with you. I'm going to save this poem, or I'm going to save this video and put it on so that if the morning people want to come back and watch this, this will probably help them. And I hope Gracie's in here too, because this should help her, because she emailed me and said, hey, I'm not good with this. Now we're going to get good with this. Are we good to move on to question number 3? Because I know we are running out of time and I need to go faster. These following questions are going to help you to be able to talk about. All right, cool. Let's move on. So number 3, in the third line, the speaker adds himself to the pathetic crowd of the faithless and foolish. What effect does this have on the reader? Well, it makes him relatable, right? I think that's really simple. It doesn't seem like he's talking down to everybody else, because when he's describing things, he's not just saying, oh my goodness, look at these endless trains of the faithless, cities filled with the foolish people. But myself forever reproaching me. I'm always talking down to myself, because who's more foolish than I, and who's more faithless? And that is also, I want to say Timothy, that is also kind of almost a biblical reference, because he's looking through all of the sinners and he says, of whom I am the worst. And that makes him, so a simple question, or a simple answer to question number 3 would just, he doesn't look down on anybody else. He's not being arrogant. When he talks about people suck, like I look around and people suck, and I suck too. I'm the worst. And so that makes him approachable, likable, right? Because he would nobody likes being talked to like, oh, you guys all suck, you're the worst, blah, 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 and I'm perfect. No, he's not saying that. He's like, and I'm the worst. I'm the worst of all of you. All right. For number 4, you could actually quote the word sordid, when you're talking about tone in the first section, because we're going to talk about what sordid means. And I'm going to give you these synonyms. So in a thesaurus, look up the word sordid and write down 2 synonyms. In your experience, do you think this word is appropriate to describe large groups of people? That's going to be your opinion, so you tell me why or why not, and then give an example from our modern lines to explain your answer. So some other words that are kind of like sordid would be like dirty, unsavory, to use modern slang, like crusty. They're crusty. Sleazy. So sleazy, dirty, crusty, nasty. And so when you think about, this is such an opinion question, right? But like when you think about large groups of people, like, do words like sordid, crusty, nasty come to mind? And that's opinion based. You answer this in the way you want. But if you quote sordid in quotation marks and you're talking about how the tone at the beginning of this poem is pretty negative or depressed, you can talk about how the word sordid is negative. It makes the reader think of nasty, crusty, sleazy, dirty things. And that's what you would explain in your analysis, that negative tone is coming across because he uses words like sordid, foolish, useless, empty. All of these words that are coming up in that first stanza really create that tone of disappointment with humanity in general. So that kind of moves away from question 4 to talking more about your essay, but I want to make you feel prepared to do that essay if you're doing it. So yeah, if I was answering number 4, I would say yeah, because when I think about crowds of people, I think about like festivals. And so like, a bunch of people listening to music in the desert, like doing drugs and not taking showers for a couple days, sounds pretty sordid to me. All right. Are we ready for number 5? Y'all let me know when we are good to go on number 5. Okay, Abigail says yes. Okay, all right. Noah's almost ready. If you need somebody to help you catch up, do so. All right. So number 5, in line 4, the speaker says that our eyes vainly crave the light. This is an example of symbolism. And what does the light refer to here? Light can mean a couple of things here, but I think it usually you crave hope, knowledge, and maybe God. I think God, just because like when people die, they say like, you see a white light and you're going towards God and the white light. And I think that's how Whitman would have seen it. Because when you think about symbolism, it's never like symbolism is never about how you personally see it. You've got to put yourself in the author's shoes to think about what the author means, or you're going to get the symbol wrong, right? So I think here the symbol of the light would probably be God, hope, or knowledge. And I think, what does the light refer to here? That's what I would go with. And that just has to do with like he wants the knowledge of what life means, and we're going to get the answer at the end. And then number 6, I think this is a part of the poem that a lot of people find confusing, so I always want to talk about it. Also in line 4, the speaker mentions the object's mean. What do you suppose this phrase refers? So when he talks about objects, he just means material goods. So in line 4, of eyes that vainly crave the light. Like we want knowledge, we want hope, and we want goodness. Of the objects mean though, but we focus on material things. And how do we know that he doesn't really like material things? Because he calls those objects mean. They're mean objects. They're meaningless. They're worthless. We put all of our energy into material goods that at the end of the day really are not worth our time. And then of a struggle ever renewed, meaning that this is a struggle we go through for most of our lives. We try to focus on being good people and doing the right thing, but then we get caught up in material stuff that really doesn't matter. Are we good on 5 and 6 for the most part? I'll give you a second because I know you're trying to write that out. Okay, Abigail says yes. I'm also going to say, since I'm putting this video up for you guys, especially for the morning class to have, it's still going to be up tomorrow. You're going to have a hard time if you're trying to watch this video and write this essay at the same time. So if you're going through this with me and you're like, yeah, I kind of get it, but I'm still struggling, I would also suggest tonight just watch this video again, especially this piece where I'm going over what the poem means. Watch it again so that some of the stuff will kind of stick in your mind and it will be easier to write about it. So if you're still kind of struggling with this poem, that's what I would suggest you do. You can also always email me. And I'm going to be grading your papers tonight. My kids go to bed like 8:30. So if you hit me up between like 8:30 and like 10:30, 11, I should be able to get back to you fast. And if you have any like specific questions about the poem or tone, I can help you out then to make sure you're good and ready for your essay. All right. Are we okay to do number 7? Because that should help hit on tone for the end of it. And I know that we are cutting it close. I hope we're not cutting it too close with time. But let me know. Are we ready for this last one? Abigail's ready. The rest of y'all ready? Okay. All right. Perfect. Everybody's ready. Okay. So let's do number 7 real fast. We got 12 minutes. Oh, okay. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I was worried that you guys were keeping you over. Okay, good. 7 gives me plenty of time. Walt Whitman is one of the most celebrated poets in the canon of American literature, and Walt Aiken is one of the most celebrated toddlers who live in my house. After examining this poem, what do you think Whitman's verse has turned out to be, and what do you want your verse to be? So remember, when we talk about verse, we're talking about that very last line of the play, or of the poem, where he says, "The powerful play goes on, and you will contribute a verse." Now, what do you want your verse to be? That's just something I want you guys to think about as you're graduating. This is a time to both reflect on your schooling and also think about the things that you want to do in the future and what you're looking forward to. How do you want to contribute to the powerful play of human existence? What do we think Whitman's verse has turned out to be? Well, if you think about this poem, I think it's that and this is, he's 1800, so this is a long time ago, 200 years ago almost. He encourages us to be hopeful and overcome the difficult things around us. And he gives us, I think, a really optimistic view of what the meaning of life is. And that's how I would describe that. So his verse was just that first of all, his verse in the powerful play of human history is verse, because that's like another way to talk about poetry. So his verse is in verse because he's a poet, but also that he gives humans the chance to be optimistic and have hope. And that is pretty much my answer to number 7. And then you guys just talk about what you want your verse to be. Of course, you know what I want my verse to be. I teach and I have lots of babies. So my verse is I want to help you guys contribute and grow and learn and know more than you knew before, which I think we did. I think we've done in this class successfully. To varying degrees of success, let's say. All right. Questions that you have for me or things that you're worried about. You can see in this prompt for tomorrow's essay, it is written to be a 2-body paragraph essay. So it should only be 4 paragraphs, intro, 2 bodies, and a conclusion. Your first body paragraph should be all about that first stanza where you are going through. I would pick either quotes or phrases and talk about how those phrases create a certain tone. And that tone needs to be disappointed. I see Jonathan's already turning his stuff in. He's ready. He's ready to get his grade. And then I would go to a second body paragraph. And in that second one, you're going to write all about the couplet. And since you don't have as much to quote here, I would explain the metaphor in that last line about the powerful play and how that is such a different tone and attitude compared to thinking about the nasty, crusty crowds of people who are materialistic and aren't thankful. And don't know how to become more like God or more good and knowledgeable. And you can talk about how those two are very different. And so I hope that makes, my son is shuffling about something. I hope that makes this in-class essay seem a little bit more doable, because I know, it is Whitman, it's 1800s, and it's sometimes hard to write a full essay on a poem that's short like this or with slightly different language. Any questions you guys have for me before I hop off here, or you feel like you're good? All right, I don't see anybody feverishly typing, so I think that means that you all are good to go. Stop pulling my shirt. My son is messing with my shirt from behind. Get your foot out of my shirt. Yeah, cool. All right, kids. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of those. I'm going to wait to grade them for a day or two so that everybody has time to get them in, but it should be good. And again, if you are not super confident in this, go back, watch this live video again. You're going to be ready for tomorrow. I will talk to you all later. Bye.